picture here of some girls. And looks like she's helping the girl in the pink so all of her books don't fall.
They look like they're saying, ah.
Get different ideas you might build on each other's thinking.
I think the books will fall.
You think they will fall? Mm-hmm. What makes you think that?
Well, neither of them looks like they have a good handle on the situation.
And even if they did have a good handle, I still think they would fall because it's a lot for little kids. It's a lot of books for a little kid to hold.
Yeah.
Nancy, you said that you're predicting they will fall. So what really about the picture is making you think that? I mean, you can point and show us, or you can just tell us. You said they didn't have a handle on the situation. What's showing you?
Well, the girl in the pink looks really small to be trying to hold all those books anyway, and I don't know, just the way the girl in the blue, it just doesn't look like they're
not stacked.
they don't have a very good grip on them. Like they could just kind of.
So there's some space in here.
Yeah.
Where they could fall out.
Yeah,
maybe.
like it looks like one false move and they're going over.
What are you thinking will happen next, John?
I think that she'll take some and then she'll have the other girl have some left probably. She'll share the load with her. But she's not going to get all of them. She's going to miss some of the bottom ones, but maybe she can take some of off the top. At least help her stabilize.
So what's making you think that? Is there something in the picture that's making you think that? Or are you thinking about an experience you've had before? What made you think of the idea of them, her taking some of the books and her taking some of the books?
Just where she's grabbing and she's going to take some of the top ones, or the top part of it, but she won't get all of them because she's missing the bottom one down there when the girl got her hand on it.
I wonder why she's carrying all those books. Like, did her backpack break?
Are they all hers?
Yeah. Those are some really good questions.
What are you thinking about these questions that you each asked? Why is she carrying them all in the first place? I'm not sure if there's anything in the picture. Well, it doesn't even look like they're at school, so you wonder, you know, it looks like they're on the front, or a porch of a house, the way the...
Yeah. One thing that looks kind of funny to me, too, is that they don't look like they'd be friends. The two girls. I know this is
one's more neat.
Well, one's got fingernails painted, is dressed really nice, her hair's done, and she's got braces. The other one's just got her hair in a ponytail and a t-shirt on. So, just see that. That's, I know. There's some psychological evaluation of it. But it's kind of a strange setting that.
Yeah, was she like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's in the context of school.
Yeah.
No. So why is she?
So maybe use your own experience or your background knowledge. What are some times maybe that you've had books, a lot of books like that? Like where were you coming from or going to, or why did you have a bunch of things in your hand? Well, I would say the library, but not all those are, I mean, there's obviously different size notebooks that are in there, but in my experience, you know, coming back from the library with all the books that I've checked out, trying to carry them into the house, you could have that situation, but I wouldn't take notebooks to the library. I think it's really interesting how you thought of something in your experience, but then when you checked it with the picture, it didn't quite match up. But that was a good initial connection that you made.
You're either going to play school or something like that. She went to get a bunch of books or something.
Is that something you've done with your friends, John? Play school?
Not recently. But I have done it, yes. Not most of the people's lifetimes here, but you always get a bunch of books and papers and.
Yeah, so maybe you know in your experience that you've had a bunch of stuff like that when you're playing school, and maybe they're getting together to play together, and she's bringing all those things and they can play school together. That makes sense, especially if they're on a porch. Because they're not at school.
Or the girl on the left could be stealing all those books from her. Taking them from her.
What makes you think that?
I don't know, she looks like she's grabbing them. The other girl know if maybe that could be. I think she could be taking them from them. It looks like they're not falling yet, and the other girl's grabbing them.
So I want to go back to what someone had said at the beginning about, one of you thought that the books were going to fall. You predicted that might happen. And I can't remember, did you think, you thought that they would be able to catch them
yeah.
by splitting them up between both of them. So let's think about that. Let's think about what John said. So if she were to help by taking some of them, and she were to help by taking some of them, what do you think we could learn about friendship from both of these girls?
I thought it was good to help. Friends help each other. You know, when they see one in trouble, they come to their aid and help them out.
What are the rest of you thinking?
Well, they could support each other by whoever's load of books it is, the other one can support them by taking half of the books.
I agree with them. Friends are supportive.
So now I want you to think about kind of what we did. And I want you to think about when we've met together and we've read books together and we've talked about some of the strategies we use as good readers when we read books. So what are some of the strategies we use as good readers when we read books?
We think about how characters feel.
Okay.
We try and draw a picture of what we're reading so we can visualize it.
So we try to visualize, we try to think about how the characters feel.
We use our background knowledge.
That's a big thing, and I heard you using that a lot. A lot of you were using it. What's something important to know about when we use our background knowledge, though? It was something that you did, Carrie. Is our background knowledge the only thing, or what do we have to do with our background knowledge?
Use that, like for this, I mean, obviously this is a picture, but using background knowledge can help either relate to the picture, but then maybe what could happen or what's going on in the picture. So when we're reading, it can help us understand what we're reading or what could be happening in the story.
So it helps you make predictions, but then you had to check your prediction from your background knowledge with what was happening in the picture too.
Context.
And maybe it worked, and maybe it didn't work. So that's something that's really important for us to know about our background knowledge. Is sometimes it can definitely help us, and sometimes it's just a starting place for us to think about what might happen or what's really going on, because we also want to check it with the information that we have, if we had words here, or if the information in the pictures to help us see if what we're thinking or what we're predicting is actually what's happening. I also heard you asking questions. You were wondering things, and then you were using your background knowledge in the picture again to help you answer your questions to understand better. So what I want you to know is that all of those reading strategies we use when we actually read a book, that's what we were practicing today as we looked at this picture. And I want you to think about how natural it was for you to do all those things when you were looking at the picture, and how we can try those when we read books as well. All right. Thanks, students. Message all came out. Whoops. Hold on here. Okay, before we get to this, a couple things. I had planned to write some of the key words down that they had said, but when we got into it, it didn't seem like it would work. So sometimes it works to do that, and sometimes it doesn't work to do that. And just like I kind of listened to the students, I decided not to because I didn't think it would be helpful. But sometimes it would be helpful for kids to write some of those keywords down. The other way that I've used this, sometimes I've just used it as a general, let's try putting all of our reading strategies together, because really that's what kids have to do when they read. That's what we do as readers. It's not like one day we're like, I'm going to read this and I'm going to use questioning. You know, we have to use all of the strategies together when we read. And sometimes just talking about a picture and prompting kids and noticing and naming for them what they're doing is good enough in itself. Other times I would do these and I would pick a very clear strategy that I wanted them to focus on. So when I had planned this, that's why I kind of let them talk first to see where we were going to go. But you could plan it around, like, so this is what I had. Like, to make inferences, I use what I see in the picture and know from my experience. And then some structures would be, I think something because in the picture I noticed, or I believe something because it reminds me of or makes me think of. So like when John was talking about, you know, he said, he could have said something like, I think they are going to play school with all the books, and that's why she has all the books, because it reminds me of when I play school and I need lots of books. So it's getting to that whole experience or background knowledge thing or those sorts of things. But I decided not to go there because they were doing such a good job of getting to all the reading strategies. But you can use it to focus in on one strategy that you're seeing students having a hard time with. And I always noticed, and maybe this was just our kids here, I don't know, but I always noticed a big